And the liberalization policy, the government is ignoring the liberalization policy during this coronavirus situation. You see people overcrowded in the market. Why you can't leave the people who sell used clothes to sell to the 3 o'clock level? Because they said the rest they are going to distribute will be for vulnerable. So how do you expect the rest of the Liberian people to look for resources and feed their family members? Because right now, most of the institutions are not working, especially the poor teachers, the business people, they rely on the business. So we'll let to appeal to them to consider that so that the people who can sell at 3, everybody leave the street. Thank you. This march will be used for the intended purpose. Thank you.
The president of the Liberia Business Association, James Strother, has underscored the crucial role being played by the media in the fight against coronavirus. Mr. Strother also stressed the need for journalists to be protected against the virus while taking the risk to inform the society. He was speaking at the weekend when LIBA presented 300 nose masks to the Press Union of Liberia.
Today, as we identify ourselves with our brothers and sisters in the epidemic, we thought it wise to get the PUL that control the entire press freedom in this country to be part of our donation, because we see that we cannot move forward if we can't get the press by our side, because our messages will not be heard by the people. So in giving out and then we leave the press out, and press for us we see that they are very vulnerable to the process, because everywhere we call them they go. And this pandemic you don't know who got it. So we see that what we are sharing out to be able to share with them too, to be able to protect themselves. So then we call the president of the PUL, Mr. Charles Coffey. Mr. Coffey, we do have more to offer you, but in this there we have 12 parts of this. Each of the parts is 25 pieces, so it's about 300 pieces. We thought it wise as our own way of sharing with you to take this mark and be able to share on your memo to be able to protect yourself. As we heard from the health ministry and our president, that we should all use masks to be able to protect ourselves as we engage one another.
Well, in response, PL President Charles Coffey thanked LIBA for the gesture, promising that the donation will ease the work of journalists in the country.
As we rightly said, all of us are at risk, and we can be sensitizing the public without setting an example. We have most of our colleagues across the country who do not have EE or PPE, emergency service material for journalists, in Ghana, in Sierra Leone. These are the masks they use, and sometimes they got personal protective equipment, sanitizer. So we want to commend LIBA that you are a business institution, but you're concerned about humanity. And these pieces will go across the country. We are expected to go to bombing to make our people to use this mask and sensitize the Liberian people. Even those who have television will be demonstrating that how to use the mask. So thank you. We hope that other institutions will emulate the example. The last time the Rotary Club of Single also brought some masks to us. Their wives brought some buckets. And this contribution came at the right time. Yesterday we have our MICE meeting. Some of the discussions were about personal protective equipment. But these masks are very important.
Meanwhile, the Liberia Business Association has also donated food and non-food items to schools of the Deaf and Sustainable Agriculture of Liberian Youth for Economic Achievement, SAPO.
We say thank you. We wholeheartedly receive it with joy and happiness, and appreciating you at this time to come and identify with all that person with disability. We say thank you. And we also ask that at least others will see what you have done and will be able to do the same. So again, we say thank you. We highly appreciate it. We have some 15 to 20 acres that we cultivated in Banga, and we planted corn, and then the corn is coming on good. And we'll also be looking in your direction to at least time for harvest, so that you can join us to see how best we can be able to market our product from our farm. And with our membership spreading all over, because we are not people that are controlling a specific home. So we just run the office and the memberships live outside in terms of forum like that. We collect them from all over to come. So due to the information given me by Honorable Fala, I called in, but Saturday many people are engaged. So some were here and some decided to go and check by later.
Well, folks, if you're just joining us, this is a reminder that you are following LNTV News Live, a 30-minute news presentation of major events about Liberia and other parts of the world. I'm Daniel ANKRA, anchoring top stories we follow this morning. The Liberian government names budgetary support and agriculture as key areas for Liberia's post-COVID-19 recovery. Out of 211 persons infected, 85 recoveries have happened and 62 cases are active. River G County Senator Kamil said calls for calm between the Ministry of Information and the Press Union body. These stories plus much more coming up right after this break. Welcome back. The Chief Justice Francis Kokpo wants magistrates to take advantage of the magisterial seating program to decongest prison centers. Justice Kokpo said people with petty crimes should be tried for their possible release to reduce the overcrowdings at prisons amidst COVID-19. The Chief Justice also announced a plan to meet with magistrates and heads of the Justice Ministry on pre-trial detainees. He, however, expressed fear that a single infection of an inmate could further cause serious trouble within the prison centers. The former chair of the Senate Committee on Information and Broadcast, Senator Komni Wise, is calling for a speedy solution to the ongoing standoff between the Ministry of Information and the Press Union. The Ministry of Information and the leadership of the Press Union are involved in a disagreement with the PEL members refusing to accept the reprinted accreditation cards from the Ministry for journalists covering the COVID-19 pandemic.
I don't think the press union, people from what I've heard, they're not against carrying passes. But what they're against is that the Ministry of Information will choose who carry the passes. Because when you do that, then it means you will choose certain media institutions only that you are satisfied with. And the press union is supposed to be protecting the interests of all their members, even if people have a contrary view to what is expressed by government. I also want to indicate that in my advocacy for this, the support for the press and for the media, I am mindful that there are some individuals who abuse this freedom, but you don't kill the media because you have a problem with an individual. If there's a given individual whose behavior and utterances are found to be, we call them in. That's what call them in. But you can't gag the entire media by putting unimplementable restrictions.
Well, at the same time, Senator Kamil says that is calling for easing of the 3 p.m. lockdown on farmers in rural communities.
I get calls every day from these farming communities. These are communities that live on the little farms they make, where they got the cassava, and for those who live in what the big towns or the cities, they have to go maybe 2-3 miles into the bush to make their farm because the town has grown, so they got to go distances to be able to make their farm. If the person leaves from the farm, leave from their house, even as early as 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, and they go out, walk for 2 hours to get to their farm, to get there, they must rest. After that, they go and do some little work. Before they start the work, it's getting close to 3 o'clock. So you mean they will start heading back home at 1 o'clock. They will have done nothing. So the object of these things is to control the population. to ensure that the population do not spread the virus, or that they do not.
A United Kingdom-based charity organization, Life for African Mothers, LFAM short, has donated medical supplies worth 75,000 British pounds to the Ministry of Health. Speaking during the donation, the country director of the UK-based charity, Mr. Abdul Fayyah Ba, promised to encourage more international partners to support Liberia in addressing the challenges facing the health sector.
On effort from the Ministry of Health and the Member of Parliament, obviously the representative, the speaker specifically, Dr. Chimbo, and that of the UK ambassador, that's very good, and other partners for IC and
I mean, it's just for how many counties you said?
For the whole country, entire country. So each of those boxes will be going to one county each, and then each of those boxes will be going, as you the minister, each will be going to one of the counties, and the 16 boxes here we have additional for Maserati and other specific facilities that we will be looking for the past time. So these funds are going to the 15 counties and then at the military hospital.
He said, which amount of money is worth?
75,000 pounds. So when you convert, it will be about 100,000.
Is it the first time you're donating to?
No, this is not the first time. We've been donating. We've been helping the government of Liberia since 2011. This is just part of the contribution to our country at this particular time, looking at the current condition of our country and looking at the risks associated with people not getting quality medication. And these are quality medication from, as you can see, international health partner and that of the Life African Model together with Pfizer and other big pharmaceutical companies.
Well, for her part, Liberia's Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Njala expressed gratitude to the organization and the British government for the decision to identify with Liberia during this global pandemic.
Ministry of Health and all the people in the Republic of Liberia, we want to say thank you to our partners that were able to send these boxes at this critical time during the fight against the coronavirus. We want to continue to say thank you to them for supporting us, and we hope that this is not the last support. They have been supporting us in the past, and we believe that they will continue to support us. All of these boxes will be sent to each of the counties to be used for the appropriate cost. And the one that's supposed to go to the military hospital, I'm sure it will be used for the internal purpose. So extend our gratitude to all of those who jointly provided these drugs for the people of Nigeria.
Health Minister Dr. Wilhelmina Njala. In foreign news now, authorities of Nigeria's Southern Rivers State have demolished 2 hotels for allegedly violating lockdown rules introduced to curb the spread of coronavirus. Governor Yemsin Wike looked on as the Protest Home and Entertainment were demolished on Sunday. Both hotel managers have been arrested, but the brother of the manager of Protest Home has told the BBC that the hotel was following the lockdown rules. Despite criticism on social media, Governor Wike defended the decision, saying they had found positive cases in hotels across the state. He, however, did not say if the 2 demolished hotels were hosting people with coronavirus. Nigeria's Center for Disease Control has confirmed 21 cases and 2 deaths in Rivers State. Well, folks, on that notice, I will come to the end of this presentation of LNTV News Live. Before we go, a recap of the top stories. The Liberian government names budgetary support and agriculture as critical areas for Liberia's post-COVID-19 economic recovery. Out of 24 persons infected with coronavirus, Liberia records 85 recoveries and 62 cases in treatment. River G County Senator Kamini Wise calls for easing of 3 p.m. lockdown restriction for farmers in rural communities. Thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back later on with more news. Until then, I'm Daniel ANKRA. Have a pleasant day. Good morning.